What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back for part 3 of the G.I. Joe Classified Wave. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Roadblock. That's right, Roadblock number 3 in this video series. I have a few little things with this particular figure, but first and foremost, let's take a look at the box right there. It actually looks really good. Again, we got this great artwork on the back of the box. I'm not going to talk too much about my issues yet until we get the review started, but we're going to get him out of the clamshell. Let you take a look. He does come with some accessories, so that's a pretty cool thing. But right there, out of the clamshell, check him out. Color looks great, but he's definitely an interesting character. I'm going to say that. But enough of that. Let me get him out of the clamshell. We'll flip the camera around. We'll get the review started. All right, here he is, Roadblock. As you can see, not a lot of accessories, but some pretty interesting accessories. First and foremost, he actually does come with a knife, which personally, I think it needs to have a black handle. That's just my personal opinion, but the actual knife itself, it's a knife. There's nothing too crazy about it. It's all silver. The next piece that he comes with, which I'm not 100% sure what this is yet, but it almost looks like a magazine, and I actually have seen something on the weapon. So this is actually pretty cool that that it is a magazine, or what I'm assuming appears to look like a magazine, because that'll give you a little bit more interaction with the figure, which is always something really cool to do. As far as his weapon goes, my biggest issue is paint. Not the blues, not the reds. The fact that it's all silver that's my biggest issue right there. Needs to have some contrast, needs to have some weathering to it. The main colors look great. You know, the silver and the blue and the red, the translucentness up underneath right here, it looks great. Got no complaints with that. It's got a lot of really good detail to it, as you can see. I do like the barrel design right there, and also underneath the translucent blue of this energy / maybe rail gun that's sort of what I'm thinking anyway. As far as the figure itself, I will say this, out of the box, mine is very, very loose. Especially in this left leg right here. It's pretty loose. I don't know how well it's going to hold up for posing, but as far as his head sculpt looks great. A little partial to him because, he's bald-headed and got a beard. The actual tattoo right here looks great. Lots of good detail there. I do like this color of green that he's wearing. This would have been a really good color for Duke's backpack and his belts and bandoliers. Do have some gray trimming right there. The red's a nice touch. The blue's a nice touch, as well as the gold. So this part looks really, really good as far as the weathering goes. Even back here on the back, lots of good detail there. Very muscular figure, which we expect that. Come on, it's Roadblock. Head articulation, I think his collar right here does affect his looking up and looking down. So it doesn't have a whole lot there. It does have rotation as far as side to side. Not a tremendous amount, not a lot. As far as his shoulders goes, he shouldn't have any kind of restrictions, which, as you can see, he doesn't. And he should have a really good elbow bend. Hopefully right there. That's a good bend right there. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And the fact that he's got the red gloves, that's a nice touch with the gray accent. As far as his midsection goes, I don't see anything, so I'm curious. that's not terrible considering this is a solid piece right here. Moving forward, again, not bad at all. I mean, that's a pretty good bend. Like I said, considering the fact that he has this solid vest on, which I assumed would have basically constricted some of his abdominal movements, but not bad at all. Left to right, not terrible. And he does have an actual waist twist. As far as his legs goes, like I said, these are way too soft. I mean, there is no tightness to these whatsoever. They're actually, I mean, they're floppy. So I don't know how well he would hold up in standing poses. Definitely let me know what you think about that. The detail in the pants looks great. Lots of good details there. This gold knee pad looks really cool, down to actually the gold and the red that's in his boots. But yeah, it's a good looking figure. As far as his actual knee bend goes, shouldn't be too much of a big deal, which as you can see it's not. So we can get some really good articulation in the knee joint. As far as his actual ankle, that's a little tight right there on that leg. Let's check this leg out. All right, so that one actually comes down pretty good, and that one does as well. As far as the upward movement, it's not too bad. It's sort of normal, so not bad. But yeah, other than the fact that he is really loose right here, and his leg actually pops down like the Duke figure does, so you can actually get him up in some pretty decent kicks. I just don't know, as you can see, like right there, the leg, it falls. So that's a little disappointing right there. But overall, color-wise, design-wise, the figure looks really good. I'm not extremely disappointed with it, but yeah, I'm really impressed with it. But right there's Roadblock. Boom. So I'll tell you what, let's flip things back around and we'll do our final thoughts on this figure. All right, Roadblock. I did want to touch base on something. I talked about it actually in the previous clip regarding the weapon and this that appears to be a magazine. There is a magazine well right there, and it does appear that this actually slides into place. It's really cool. I don't know if it was necessary to do that, but it does give you another posing opportunity to where you could pose him where he's loading the weapon, which is cool. But yeah, other than the fact that it needs maybe some black or something on it, or a darker gray to give it a little bit of contrast, the weapon looks cool. It's a cool looking gun. It's a big gun. So as far as his knife goes, yeah, it's just a plain, gray knife. I've been looking. I haven't seen anything obvious as far as a sheath or anything like that. I'm not seeing anything in the boot area. So I wish it had a sheath for the knife. That would be, oh, boom. Hey, wait a minute. Right there. It's right in front of my face. Right there. Been a snake, it have bit me. So there you go, the knife. I may repaint the handle on this. Just maybe paint it black, just to give it a little bit of a contrast right there. I think would look really cool. As far as the figure goes itself, color-wise is great. I love the color. I love this green, the vest. I was a little worried when I saw this in package that I didn't see any kind of abdominal breaks right here, so I was very worried that he wouldn't have too much of an abdominal crunch, but he actually does. The biggest disappointment, honestly, is with the hips. Now, this is his right leg. It's okay. I mean, it'll stay up, but you can see it's got some looseness. It will not take long at all for this to become really, really weak. The left leg is bad. I mean, there is no stability there whatsoever. So if you was to do him up like doing a kick like this, that's about what it would look like. So yeah, that's disappointing. But hey, it's not that, it doesn't take away from the fact the figure looks really cool, and it's a good one to have in the collection. But again, if you see Roadblock out, you pick him up, I'd be real curious on whether or not your Roadblock actually had this looseness in his legs. I mean, it's really loose. It's really, really loose. He does have a peg back here in the back, and I was looking on the weapon to see if maybe it would peg in, but I don't see anything. So I guess you could take Duke's backpack and peg it in with that, but there's nothing as far as the weapon goes that would peg it in like this. So, which honestly, that would be sort of ridiculous looking in my opinion. It'd be just too big. I will say this though, this would have been cool to have a sling. I think a sling would have been really cool to have with this weapon. Just because of the size. I don't care how big you are, you're not going to carry this around without a sling, and I think it would have actually made it look a lot better overall. But yeah, other than that, I think the biggest complaint is the fact that the legs are so loose, and that really sort of took it away from the review because this was pretty. That's pretty major. I think we can live with arms that are loose, but when the legs get loose like this, it really hurts the figure when it comes to posing it for stability and keeping it standing. But yeah, it is what it is. It's no big deal. Like I said, it's still a great figure. I am really serious. Like, if you guys actually find Roadblock in your area, definitely let me know if your figure actually has that kind of issue. One other thing about the weapon that I find rather interesting is the fact that you have the handle here and the foregrip handle here. So that makes sense. But right here you have a standard grip and trigger well, which doesn't make sense because the handle's up here. So I don't know the logic behind that. But again, I'm nitpicking right now. That's all this is I'm nitpicking a little bit. I personally think that the best way for me anyway to pose this figure will probably be like this. As we get him all set up, I think this is more of a natural look, is like this right here. So, but it's a big gun, but you can really manipulate the figure. The arms and everything lets you move really good, so you can pose the weapon good. I just don't see the weapon posing on the shoulder like a shoulder fired weapon, but I think this works out really good. But yeah, that's it. That's it for this part 3 of the G.I. Joe's Classified series, Wave 1, I do believe. We have one more figure, which is part 4, and I've saved this one for the last because honestly, I think this figure deserves to be last because I just think it's a really cool figure and it's one that I really wanted. But the next video is going to be part 4, and we're going to be doing it on Destro right there. And this is a really cool figure. I dig it. Little hint, I will have comments about this figure, but that's it, guys. That's going to be for this unboxing. Hope you really enjoyed it. Definitely let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you've picked any of these up. Let me know what you think about this. I mean, I know we can fix it with either some, nail polish. There's all kinds of little tips and tricks that we can, super glue, but it's just, it's just sad. I mean, look at that. It's just sad. But let me know in the comments what you think, and make sure to tune in for the next video on Destro. But always remember, toys refresh your soul, and I'll see you next time.